We have our first speaker of the day, Ms. Vijayalaxmi Nachiyar, Director Apache Ecologic Cotton Private Limited and Creative Director of Ethicus. By initiating India's first organic and sustainable farm to a fashion brand, ma'am has been the instrument in establishing the Ethicus studio with Jacquard Handlooms in Polachi. She takes a keen interest in grooming young designers at the Ethicus Design Studio. She has received the FICCI Flow Coimbatore Chapter Award for Preservation of Craft, Future Shaper Award, Pride of Tamil Nadu Award, and Transforming India Retail Award. I would like to request Ms. Vijay Lakshmi to kindly start with a keynote. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am deeply honored to be part of this important event and be with you all today, though virtually. I would like to thank Mr. Benjamin Itter, Dr. Hundekar, the board members of Green Fashion India, the School of Fashion Technology for this incredible opportunity to present the keynote address on the topic, the collaboration and co-creation to empower our roots at this 8th International Conference of Green Fashion India. As an alumni of the SNDT Women's University, it is my honor to speak in the presence of Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Ujjwala Chakradev, other distinguished guests, and especially the students present here today. When I was asked by Benjamin and Dr. Hundekar to deliver the keynote address, I agreed readily, as I always do, because it was yet another opportunity to talk to students, to share what I have learned in my journey so far. I come from a family rooted to a heritage that's more than 100 years old. We are growers and ginners of long and extra long staple cotton. We form the very base of the cotton value chain. We are a very important link in India's cotton industry. But just like the many millions of farmers, ginners, spinners, textile processors, and the multitude of talented traditional artisans across the country, we found ourselves to be nameless and faceless. We sometimes felt that we were doing a thankless job, and we certainly didn't want our kids to do the same. But 2004 was a milestone year for us. It marked the beginning of a change. A casual conversation with friends at a farm in Polachi, Tamil Nadu, led to a conversation on farming about how chemical and pesticide intensive it was and how we should have been growing our own food but weren't. This conversation made us think. We began reading more about the need to grow our own food, the effects of chemical fertilizers and pesticides on our food crops and milk, the need to practice multi-cropping, and the need to grow organic. Do you know that India is the largest planter of cotton in the world? It is estimated to be grown in around 3.5 crore acres of land, giving employment to an equal number of people in the farming sector. Did you know that India had more than 800 varieties of indigenous cotton seeds, each unique to its geography? This could be spun from 2's count to 1,000 count. The cotton plants could survive the vagaries of climate and were pest resistant. The seeds were reusable and so very economical. Do you also know that all but a few of these indigenous seeds survive today? That more than 98% of cotton grown in India today is genetically modified? We pay huge royalties for seed technology to multinational companies, use as much as 50% of the chemicals, pesticides, and fertilizers made in India on cotton alone, leaving our soil infertile, our yields low, and our farmers forever in debt. This is besides the pollution that is caused by a dying industry, letting out effluent and hazardous carcinogenic chemicals into our land, polluting our groundwater and our rivers. Do you know that we have forgotten traditional and sustainable ways of doing agriculture? With our farmers planting the same crop year on year, in just like we in our own family were growing coconuts for the market and nothing for ourselves. In our quest for better yields and in the hope of better income, we have fallen prey to an unsustainable model of farming. It all seemed so skewed. We realized that we needed to do something and we needed to change. We experimented with multi-cropping, growing our own fruit and vegetables, growing it organically on our own farm. And we saw the benefits of this in our personal lives, and it made us look at our own business differently. When we talk of sustainability at the grassroots level, it is more about social and economic sustainability first. Environment sustainability is important but comes much later. And so in 2006, we started the Apache Ecologic Project with the farmers of Kabini in Karnataka. They started growing cotton sustainably using organic standards and traditional agricultural practices. This was good for them and their families. 3 years later, in 2008, just when we were charged up about exporting bales of gin with certified organic extra long staple cotton, the recession of 2008 happened. We found no buyers, had committed to buying this cotton from our farmers, were stuck with bales of gin cotton. We found ourselves at a crossroad. We decided that we had to do something and we decided to value add. We found ourselves with a perfect opportunity to start new and move on. For far too long, we were at the bottom of the cotton pyramid. Here was an opportunity to get closer to the consumer. We traveled across the country, met with a lot of weavers and change makers. I was personally inspired by Sally Holker. I was at her home, and that is where I met a fantastic group of weavers from Kota, Chanderi, Maheshwar, Calicut, Assam, and Bhagalpur. I loved the textiles that they were making, and I got to see how they were interacting with designers and retailers. They were innovating with weaves, raw materials, and exchange of ideas and techniques. It was fascinating. We had our answer. We wanted to make the best of handmade cotton textiles in the world. Hailing from Pollachi, where all the famous Coimbatore cotton saris are made, we looked at handloom weaving as a possible local solution to value addition. There was an established local hand weaving tradition, and the weavers were used to weaving extra long staple cotton. It was also an opportunity for my husband and I to work together. Him on growing the cotton, and me by value adding. And so we established our design studio within our old ginning factory and co-founded Ethicus, one of India's only sustainable farm to fashion brands. I would like to show you a small video about the story of our sari.
That's a nice sari you got there. It also has a very nice story behind it. The cotton that was used in the sari comes from the pristine Kabini region of Karnataka, where our Apache Ecology Project promotes sustainable cotton farming.
ನಾನು ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿ ಕಾಟನ್ ಎಕಾಲಜಿಯಿಂದ ಸುಮಾರು 3 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಔಷಧಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ತುಂಬ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇದೆ. ಮೊದಲು ನಾವು ಏನು ಇದ್ರ ಬೀಜ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕದ್ದು, ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಮೈ, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬ ಫ್ರೀ. ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಕುಮಾರ್ ನಾಯ್ಕ. ನಾನು ಅಪ್ಪಾಜಿ ಎಕೋಲಾಜಿಕ ಸಾವಯವ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ಹತ್ತಿ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಅದು.
The project helps farmers like Kumar Naika adopt environment and eco-friendly way of cotton growing. We put farmers together, we give them a contract where the farmers, even before they put the seed into the soil, know the price at which Apache will buy the cotton from them. The fine cotton sourced from our Kabini farmers is brought down to Pollachi, Tamil Nadu for further processing. Ethicus The in-house brand of Apache initiates the magical journey of the yarn into beautiful handlooms. It is also a vehicle to reach out to the final customer with our farm to fashion story. The philosophy of Ethicus is to sustain our ancient weaving techniques, use them to make contemporary fashion statements, and in the process, instill in the weavers a sense of pride in their heritage and remarkable skill.
என் பேர் மோகன் ராஜுங்க. நான் இங்கே வந்து 8 வருஷமா வேலை செஞ்சுட்டு இருக்கேங்க. எத்திகஸ்ல நெசவு பண்ற புடவைங்க கஸ்டமர் எடுத்து பார்த்துட்டு புடவை அழகா இருக்குன்னு எங்களுக்கு ஒரு மெசேஜ் அனுப்புவாங்க, சந்தோஷமா சொல்லுவாங்க. அது வந்து எங்களுக்கு மனசு ரொம்ப திருப்தியா இருக்கு. இது நான் வரைக்கும் கிடைக்காத அங்கீகாரம் நெசவு தொழிலுக்கு எங்களுக்கு கிடைச்ச மாதிரி இருக்குங்க.
Isn't it great that your sari not only looks good but makes you a part of this wonderful change? We ensure that the contributions of the many hands in our value chain are acknowledged and given due identity. The sari in your hand has made our philosophy complete its full circle.
Thank you, Mr. Yogesh. Thank you for showing the video. In 2017, we started working on a made by hand project wherein we started collaborating with other artisans from across the country. This gave us the possibility to grow and expand our operations. It also gave our customers the variety they needed. Hailing from Kutch, I reconnected with my roots. Our first collaboration was with the very talented Ajrak artisans. It was the start of a symbiotic relationship, one based on mutual respect for the work and tradition that we both represented. Jabbar Bhai got to work on some of the finest ecologic cotton in the country. He said his colors were better on this cotton. We got to learn about the entire process of Ajrak hand block printing using natural dyes from him and his team. He used to make yardage, scarves and stoles. We taught him how to design layouts for saris by mixing and matching his traditional wooden blocks. This also enabled him to try out other products like bed linen, expanding his production and design profile. The result of this collaboration was a hugely popular range of saris, Ajrak by Ethicus, and I would like to share a video of its making. Mr. Yogesh, if you could play the second video, please. Thank you so much. Ours is an inclusive growth story. We have included our farmers, our traditional handloom weavers, our designers, our student interns, our craftsmen and women, and our local craft traditions into our store. We leverage on each other's strengths and acknowledge the efforts of the people who have helped in its making. This is integral to our philosophy. We have now started working with other craft groups too. We believe these collaborations are important to preserve the rich heritage and traditions of our country and for us to innovate. For Mohan Rajana, our master weaver, or Jabal Bhai from Dhamalka and Kutch, the acknowledgement of their name on their creation is a recognition of their effort, skill, and tradition. A motivation to move forward, to carry on, to create, and to innovate. Our customers value our product. They say it has a soul, a name, and a face to it. We have realized how important it is to empower, collaborate, and co create to remain relevant. We are a small brand. We have miles to go. It has not been an easy journey. We've had our ups, our downs, our moments of despair, and our moments of joy. We face new challenges every day. The challenge of working within an unorganized sector like the craft and handloom sector, the ever-changing, growing challenge of handloom versus the power loom, of climate change and weather, of offline and online marketing, and so on. But in the view of the two events of the past 2 years with the global pandemic and this current climate related disaster that we are facing currently with floods and incessant rains this past month, we realize that going green is the only way forward. And so I would like all of you to think, how do you want to move forward? Do you want to be just another batch of designers and textile graduates? Or do you want to be thinkers, the change makers, the brand builders, and the conscious designers that our world needs? You are a lucky group. You have access to the best education. You get to engage with all the craft and traditions, innovation and technology that our country has to offer. You are at that stage in your life that you have the power to choose and to be responsible. You must decide which way our country moves forward. Think. You have the power to make a better world. Thank you.